in this full day, and I'm so glad to see so many people. So, right on time, which is fantastic. Thanks everybody for coming to the virtual Design Thinking Conference, the Design Thinking of Education, presented by Kyrgyzstan TESOL, Maharat and Management, and the Online World of Learning. I'm super happy to welcome so many participants who are here bright and ready to go today. So we have 35 people already. Nice. And Jinara.
Thank you. So let us start then. We will start with the first speaker, Professor Jukka Sinnemäki. If to speak about this person, Jukka Sinnemäki has 25 years of experience in teaching grades from 1 to 9th grade in various positions, from elementary school teacher to principal, and in different types of schools like public and private. His teaching development has resulted in several innovations that have been international and national recognized. Jukka is the founder of Cycle Model Learning and co-founder of Know Now Key. He has a master's degree in education and philosophy. Currently, he is finishing doctoral studies, PhD in education at Johannes Kepler University, Linz, Austria. His research topic is how does basic well-being contribute to learning, a concrete model for building an innovative learning environment. So the floor is given to you, Professor. You are welcome to start.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's very quickly about the technology. So I will share it now. And it should be. Do you see the presentation now?
Yes, we see it.
So thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to speak. Yeah, it has been a pretty busy ride for the last few weeks, just traveling a bit too much, but let's focus. And just to make sure, is it about 30 minutes, including some discussions, or how it was planned?
Yeah, so maybe speak for 20 minutes and I'll give you a 10-minute heads up, and
Good.
then questions for like 10 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, let's begin. Let's focus for your question. So I think that would be the most valuable one to get some feedback and maybe go a bit deeper in some details. So as you heard, I have been 25 years in the field of education, living in several countries. Actually graduated in Florence, Oregon, class of 1993, living in Egypt, Hungary, Austria. Originally, I'm from Finland, and at the moment I'm at home in Finland. Just came back from Austria yesterday. So, but let's try to settle down now, at least for 30 minutes. I want to start with a personal story because at least white people think that Finland has quite good education system and the brand is something, and my perspective is a bit different. Yeah, we do have a okay or even good education system, but we do have our challenges, and I'm one of the examples of the product of the institution as a teacher training. And when I wasn't focusing for the right things, I got actually already 15 years ago quite frustrated that how much impact teachers and the school can really bring to students' life and to their parent or to their families. And this is what has been one of the biggest changing points in my life. At that point, I was a principal in one of the schools here in Finland. It was the day before the school ended it, and someone knocked on my office door, and there was this 9th grade girl, age of 16, knocking my door, and I invited her to come in, and she handed this painting to me. And of course, I had no idea, what's going on. And then I just simply said that, and well, thank you, but could you share something? What is this all about? And she said that, as you probably know, that I have been the trouble for this school for so many years. She couldn't come to school maybe 30-40% of the time because various difficulties in her past and many other difficulties. And she said that before she leaves this place, she would like to make sure that there is at least one positive memory of her. And of course, I became very speechless that, what's happening here. And there was a lot of, thoughts and motion going on my head. And we had a time for a little chat, and she was willing to open up a little bit more. And she said that all the dialogue and all the discussion between her and the school has been something negative, something about her troubles. And she never felt that she fits into this community. She never felt that she has been seen or has been trusted. And so I could carry on for hours, but now you're getting a little idea that we had a very, very deep and honest conversation going on. And I cannot remember if I asked her, where did you get this picture or something? But somehow I asked it, and she said that she painted it. And I was like, really? You know how to paint such, in this manner, or you are such a talented in painting? And she said that, yeah, actually she didn't really participate the classes in school because of these troubles, but she watched 9-minute tutorial from YouTube. And that was her 4th painting ever. And that began another process in my head, that how many students we have that we are focusing for the certain criteria, whether the participation or something. And if we have a lot of skilled and talented students or any kind of students, but we cannot see them, we cannot meet them, we cannot support them. And this entire process really made my view as a principal or educator or teacher to think that what is really valuable, how should I spend the time in the classroom, what should happen first, should I teach first, or should I listen more, should the connection come before content, and many other things. And then we often, there's a lot of competition and comparison in the schools that, what is success and how to succeed it. And I started to think of myself that, is the success really something we should really aim? Not meaning that, hard work is of course appreciated, that it's good that we have aims and goals in our life, so on. But then, is the school, how we do schooling, is it really preparing students for the life after school? What are the fundamental skills what people should know and practice? Because none of us really know how the future looks like in 5 or 10 years or in 20 years. We hear all kind of stories, all kind of keynote speaks about the 2030 skills, or what are the sustainable things in 2030 or in 20 years. But then I kind of started to think that, is there anything, regardless how the future will look like, that what we should focus for? And so that started another process in myself, and according to my career and the way how I do teaching and learning with my students. One thing what Angela Lee also talks about a lot is the suitable challenges that, you know, the classes, I think it's all over the world nowadays, they are quite diverse, and we have slow learners and fast learners and all kind of learners. And in Finland, the new model hasn't worked out very well, this inclusive way of teaching and learning, that you basically put all kind of students into the same class, and then you just bring more and more expert teachers, meaning that you might have even 40, 50, 80 students in a one big class with 5, 6 different helpers. That's another topic, but just mentioning that what are the suitable challenges for each and how that can really motivate. And this is actually the article I'm working on now on my PhD, that what difference it makes if we can apply this SDT, this self-determination theory, with autonomy, competence, and relatedness from the perspective of teacher and mainly from the perspective of students. And it's really cool. There is a cool studies found that when the challenges are suitable, our brain doesn't believe that failure would be a permanent status. And, you know, we fail, we get up, we get back, and we continue. And, you know, if the bar is too high, we don't even try it. I wrote this kind of paraphrasing a little bit what the World Health Organization has said 10 years ago, that I try to ask this question every time when I start new semester or a few times a year, that what is really my goal as a class teacher? When I close the door and I'm with the kids, how can I help? If not thinking about the resources or things like that, what are those things can be applied regardless of the religion or the culture or the resources? And if we can achieve that, the students will have better abilities and coping skills to help them to live the life after schooling. How do they participate in their communities? What is the impact? This is also from World Health Organization, that if we can support physical, social, and emotional well-being, this has been spoken a lot nowadays, but just wanted to mention here that it's everybody benefits if the school can promote health in any way. And as we know, the mental health issues are really, really alerting at the moment. Even in Finland, we are in the average of OECD countries and EU countries. It's about 20%. What has been said now, that people are under risk to be socially excluded because of the mental health issues. One of my colleagues, he wrote just like that, ensuring that pupils' personality is growing steadily should be the ultimate goal of the school. And actually, this was written in our core curriculum in 1980. And at that time, in our curriculum had 108 pages. Now, 23, we have 3,000 pages. And we can all understand that, can we apply, or, you know, teachers are leaving the provision because so much extra pressure. And what I mean about this instrumental teaching, that one of the biggest challenge, that how teachers can show they care, they love, and how they value their students without any of their achievements, that they don't have to earn their achievement to be valued. And this is one last thing, according to some studies, that how crucial role the relationship really mean in the school environment. How do you deal with the child? And every meeting is an opportunity. And we can either build the relationship, deepen the trust, or we can even break more. And it's not easy, you know, we are also human, we are tired, we are busy, we feel pressured. But I believe that this is when I recall it as success, if you can do well in this kind of relationship situation with your students, and of course with colleagues too. I became, like, it was 2016, really worried that I felt that it's all about digitalization, it's all about technology, and there's only input, 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 so much stimuli, and students lost kind of their dignity, they value that, how important they are. So then I actually built a workbook, which is not something you have to do, but kind of to support that, how valuable, how unique you are the way you are. And I will just go quickly through, so then we'll have some time for questions and some talks. And as I mentioned, this is something I give them an opportunity to reflect their life. And you know, the circle that we all have in daily basis, a lot of choices, we make decision, and every decision is followed by consequences, and that goes on and on and on. And a lot of the kids, their parents cannot take their responsibilities to take care of their child, and it's not my job to point that you know, you should be taking care of better, but even a young kids can make better choices. And I was kind of highlighting myself that even big change is possible in the short period of time if we do right things repeatedly. Then about the success, and we have been heard that, you know, you have to be a better version of yourself. Everything, you never are satisfied yourself. So I kind of wrote thesis other way around, that you can speak to yourself that you are enough. You don't have to be always in the hurry. I was in a lesson, one older professor said that, you know, the quickest way to well-being is not on the vitamin pills, it's not at the gym, it's not found at that program, but next time when you plan your calendar, when you prioritize your calendar, this is the quickest way to well-being. And with that, I also want to say that we often say, maybe for our kids or something, that, you know, busy is busy, busy, but there are our decision, there are times when we are more busy, but we should put those stop lights or stop signs for ourselves to reflect what's going on, to really see, you know, when the speed gets high, you know, things get blurry, and that's not what we want. So we don't have to love everything about ourselves. We don't have to feel that we are all the time constantly moving forward, just to mention a few from the slide. And continuing with this basic course with the kids, I just integrated, at that year, I spent it about 20 years with my student. So I integrated a lot. So what is how important you are, what you should know about yourself, and highlighting the uniqueness yourself, why you are so important, what the dignity really means, why you are so valuable, you're so worthy, why I'm to be respected as a person, not because you have achieved something or you dress the way you do, or you know. And resulted by that, just to mention one of my personal study results, that I didn't become through this course any better teacher, a math teacher, but the math grades got up in this year 1.3, the average grades according to the previous years, only when I believe we could increase the holistic well-being of the students. We practice learning skills, emotional skills, social skills. This is why I have put it the successful life, because I used it some years ago, but for some reason it resonates something negative rather than positive for me, to be successful. And there is another study, just to finishing up, I have one more slide, that 80% of one of the best athletes celebrities, if their identity is built on their achievements, they are more in a risk to commit a suicide or get mentally or physically ill. And in many cases, and this is not, so don't get me wrong, sucks to be successful. There is nothing wrong about that. It's nothing wrong to aim to be successful. But what I'm saying that if your identity is built only if you're in your achievements and you don't value yourself the way you are, and that might be a problem. And ending up with John C. Maxwell, that students do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Thank you. That was about my time here. And then please, if you have any ideas or comments, I'm more than happy to continue for a few more minutes.
What a beautiful way to end up. I love this quote. I've never seen it before. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation to remind us of what our priorities as teachers really should be. This is what benefits our students so much. And I love the, also had, statistics of it. It works because in the United States, also now people are trying to belittle the social emotional learning, SEL, as not important. And it's so important to the well-being of our students. Thank you so much. Let's see if there are questions. What does anybody, did anybody find any quotes that they especially liked out of this presentation? I see some nice comments in the chat.
I see a lot of good morning, everyone. Actually, I'm again fascinated by another speech. It was a very thought-provoking speech, I would say. I like the quote, "If your identity built around the success, it is problematic." I know a lot of nationalities around the world, especially Asian countries, will like to be successful, and there is a competition going on. It starts from kindergarten to whole life. For example, we have lavish weddings, lots of show off. So I am interested in values and how do we build this kind of identity which is built around yourself. Do you have any literature suggestion or practical suggestion? You already did somewhat, but I would like some elaboration around this statement. Thank you.
Would you like me to comment, or anyone who is participating?
I would like you.
There is actually a lot. One of my colleagues, he just did his PhD about the importance of identity. So you can connect me later. Probably this doesn't give too much time to go more deeper into one specific things, but yes, there are a lot of studies. What is the development of identity, and what can actually hinder you building the character and the identity in the school environment. And my next article will be about that when you enter, what are the social, emotional, and physical things in that environment, what basically support to build your identity and character, and which things do the opposite.
Thank you. Maybe can you talk a little bit more about like problems that can cause around the identity from your last slide?
Do you mean about this John Maxwell's quote? Yeah, and this is definitely not easy one, because all teachers are different, and even I'm experienced and also working with many cultures all over the world, many cultures, that when you have been asked by students that why that and this teacher never smile, I think that's a very good question from the kids' point of view. But what do you answer as a colleague? That's because they are not happy, because that's the way they are, or don't make too deep interpretation that's what's going on. But I try to encourage teachers when I'm training them also that you don't need to be a superhero. You don't have to have the answers for the things. It's okay that and I made one paper when I was in English. You have this 4 things which doesn't exist in my language, that you have the pity, sympathy, empathy, and compassion. And then I was kind of thinking that what those means in my work. And then this compassion, if I have understood it correctly, that then you are not just understanding someone's difficulties, but you are actually participating in it, and you are able to walk next to them. You are able to take part of their load, and that's how this compassion could be channeled through your personality as an educator and teacher. And of course, and also maybe that's also answering a bit for your question, that we used to hear about this equality and equity, and I replaced equality, that what is fairness, what is fair, that we can, because we think that equality means that everybody is treated the same. But at the same time, it's not fair if we understand that they are individual students, and many of their behaviors or challenges they caused, they are probably doing their best, but because of their background, because of the family situation, because of the traumas they have, that was the top performance. And if you get to understand this side a bit more, and actually maybe later I did a 6-year study of that. I was able to measure 24/7 with different sensors and activity risks, and with the stress measures, that what's happening in kids' life week after week after week. And there hasn't been any other studies like that performed before, that you are attached to these devices, which gives you objective, and then there was some daily questionnaire subjective data. And there are I think we all understand that there are so awful and difficult things happening in kids' life, and then we often expect the top performance according to the criteria we have set, in the school frame, or from the perspective of curriculum. And so I have this quote that learning happens when you see the unseen of every child. And we know this iceberg, that there's only tip seeing like 10%, and what are the 90%? And that's probably the question I would like to challenge all of us, myself again, but all of us, that what could I do differently that I would understand a bit more? And I have had so many success stories resulted when I understood. I had time to understand, time to speak more with the kids when they really wanted to share the difficulties. And then I understood that it's not fair that I require the same what I require from the classmates. And I don't know if that's applicable in any culture. In Finland it is, because teachers are yet quite trusted, and we have autonomy to basically do the best way we believe. Nobody is checking us how we do it. We have something we try to aim, we try to develop certain skills and bring some content to different subjects, but then how we do it, it's up to the teachers. That was a bit long answer, but then please, but that was a very important question.
Thank you. That was amazing.
I don't think we have any more questions, I believe.
Just everybody's too shy.
Yeah.
I think this is the most powerful and important reminder, and we have to continuously remind ourselves. And it's so easy to forget because we get so much pressure from, our principals and the school district or whoever's putting pressure on us. You have to do it this way. And we have an expression that I don't know if it's British or American, and it says, don't smile until September. No, don't smile until December. That you have to start out with an iron fist. And, why don't teachers smile? There's a lot of reasons teachers don't smile. It's hard. And we're literally told, do not smile until December. And, after that, you can start to have fun and things like that. But there's so much pressure. It's so hard. There's always somebody, doing some crazy thing in the classroom. And, if we can't stop and smile every once in a while and enjoy the good stuff, even if simultaneously the other student is spilling the milk on the bookshelf, we have to, we're not doing our job. And it's so hard. My heart just breaks for some of the classroom situations. But 81 students in a class, and in China, same thing, 81 students in a class and no helpers. Teachers are in impossible situations, and then they show students the perspective of, look at this person who had a terrible life and now he's the president or something like that. And now the kid feels worse, like, oh, I have a terrible life, but I'm not even getting B's. I don't know. Do you have A, B, C in Finland?
No, but this is exactly that was perfect example that we should not compare to others. I had some slides about comparison, but then I left it. I thought I have too much things to say anyway. So, but and this is why also I encourage teachers to reflect what kind of atmosphere they bring. And then I have noticed in my studies and my research that the way how some educators act, it's actually limiting many students because they just want to build a shell, not to be pointed, not to be accused. They know exactly the framework to work, and just to favor the teachers, only act in a way what is favorable. And that's not really building your character.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you so much. This was
Thank
great.
you.
Anybody from Kyrgyzstan want to say something? Anybody
Yes.
from Uzbekistan?
Thank you for a very informative presentation on the value of me. Yeah. So social emotional learning really is the very important topic nowadays all over the world. But this term is becoming new in our community. Although some teachers include some ways of teaching social emotional, so how to be correct socially and emotionally, but still we have those teachers who just look like strict. Yeah, they are autocratic. They are the center of their teaching, and we need to avoid from these kinds of teacher-centered classes and use more social emotional teaching, because the proper social emotional approach will lead to academic success of the learners. We need to think about it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We are doing really well, and we are staying on time, which the last conference we did not. So it's fantastic. We're at 55 participants today on a beautiful Sunday day in Philadelphia.